Isn't it strange? We have more ways to connect with each other than ever before. Thousands of friends and followers right in our pockets, and yet so many of us feel more isolated than ever. It feels like a really modern problem, right? Well, what if the solution is actually ancient, incredibly simple, and sitting right there on our dinner table?
Just look at this number for a second. 80%. According to the Ramadan 10 project, a staggering 80% of us feel like there just aren't enough places to actually meet and learn about people from different communities. We might live on the same street, but we're basically strangers.
You know, sociologists actually have a word for this. It's called Gastro-anomie. It sounds complicated, but it's basically the idea of a society that's forgotten how to eat together. When that tradition of the shared meal starts to fade, a huge piece of our social fabric just disappears. We're left a little untethered, eating alone.
So, is there a simple fix for this modern loneliness? Well, it turns out the act of sharing a meal is so much more than just a nice custom. It's practically wired into our biology.
Okay, let's get into this, because it's fascinating. Research from the University of Oxford shows that when we eat with other people, our brain gets a direct biological reward. It actually triggers our endorphin system. Yep, the same chemicals involved in things like laughter and social bonding. To put it simply, sharing food just makes us feel good, together. And you can actually see this play out in our social lives. The same research shows that people who regularly eat with others have a bigger support clique. That means more close friends, more family members they can actually rely on when things get tough. And get this, those who often eat alone, on average, they have half the number of close friends. Half.
And the benefits go even deeper. This isn't just about how many friends you have. People who eat socially consistently say they have higher levels of life satisfaction. They're happier and they're more trusting of other people. It's literally a powerful recipe for a better life.
So, okay, if the science is that clear, what does this look like in the real world? Let's take a look at a really powerful example that takes these ideas and turns them into a massive movement for social connection. So, during the holy month of Ramadan, Muslims around the world fast from sunrise to sunset. The evening meal that breaks that fast is called an iftar, and it's traditionally a really important time for community, for gratitude, and for togetherness. So, how did this beautiful tradition spark a whole movement? Well, back in 2013, a few university students just set up a small tent. They wanted to create a kind of home away from home for other people who were on their own during Ramadan. Now, fast forward a decade, and that tiny tent has exploded into the Ramadan Tent Project. They now host these open iftars in the most incredible public spaces you can imagine. We're talking Wembley Stadium, Westminster Abbey, all the way to St. George's Hall inside Windsor Castle.
And their mission? It's so beautifully simple. Turning strangers into friends. That's it. They take the tradition of iftar and they open it up to absolutely everyone, no matter your faith or background. It's all about using a shared meal to build bridges in a world that feels pretty divided.
But what is it exactly that makes these events so good at breaking down barriers? What are the ingredients? Because it's about a lot more than just good food. This is basically social science in action.
Okay, so in sociology, there's this really powerful idea called the contact hypothesis. It basically says that if you want to reduce prejudice between different groups of people, you need 4 key things to happen. Everyone needs to have equal status, they need to share common goals, they have to cooperate with each other, and the whole thing needs to be supported by authorities.
Now look at how an open iftar lines up with this perfectly. 1. Everyone sits on the ground sharing the exact same food. That creates equal status. 2. They all share the common goal of waiting for sunset to break the fast together. 3. The events are run by a diverse group of volunteers, which means cooperation is built right in. And 4. They're hosted in partnership with mayors and major cultural institutions, giving them official support. It is a textbook recipe for connection.
But it's not just about the act of eating, it's so much more than that. The food itself is chosen so carefully because every single dish tells a story. The meal becomes a collection of cultural histories. So let's take the Palestinian dish, Maqluba. The name literally means upside down. It's this incredible layered pot of rice, vegetables, and meat that's all cooked together, and then, this is the best part, it's dramatically flipped upside down onto a huge platter right before serving. But this dish is so much more than just a meal. As this quote explains, the very act of flipping a maqluba in a public space has become this modern symbol of samud, which means steadfastness or perseverance. It's a peaceful, cultural way of reclaiming space and identity. It's a story of defiance served on a communal tray. And you see this pattern all across the table. The Senegalese dish thiabodien, it embodies teranga.
which is this deep cultural value of hospitality and pride. Or Egyptian Koshari, with its wild mix of pasta, rice, and lentils, tells a story of cultural fusion. The food itself becomes the start of a real conversation about history, identity, and the values we all share.
Now, what's really cool is that these ancient traditions are not stuck in the past. Not at all. Younger generations are taking these powerful customs and completely reimagining them for our modern digital world.
Research from a group called Sila Insights shows this really fascinating shift. So while millennials over 30 tend to focus on things like family gatherings and financial stress during Ramadan, Gen Z is prioritizing something different: friendships, digital connection, and, get this, a sense of nostalgia for the very traditions of the past.
And the scale of this digital conversation is just mind-blowing. Ramadan-related content racked up over 6.2 billion views online. That's billion with a B. This is not some niche topic. It's a massive global cultural moment, and it's being driven by a whole new generation.
So Gen Z is using platforms like TikTok to create what you could call a showable tradition. They're sharing their My Ramadan experience through vlogs and viral videos, and in doing so, they're creating a powerful counter-narrative to old stereotypes. They're making their culture more visible, more human, and more accessible to the outside world than ever before.
Which kind of brings us to a final thought. In a world that feels more fractured and polarized by the day, maybe the most revolutionary thing we can do is also the most ancient and human one. Maybe the cure for division really is as simple as an invitation to dinner. Because when we share a meal, we do so much more than just feed ourselves. We build a world where strangers can actually become friends.